Hey guys, Glue here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to pick up where we left off on the one about bullying. Welcome to part 2, y'all. Let's get into it. So I left off where I talked about my first bully in 6th grade, which was my teacher. And now we're going to dive into where it got even worse after that. So besides the fat jokes and all that and the gap between my teeth, I would often get bullied by other black people that look the same color as me, same race, and all that. They would literally bully me more than anybody else there. They would often say that I'm too dark, and then they would also say that I'm a white guy. By that, they meant that I act like a white person, because I don't know how else is a black person supposed to act, because I didn't talk a certain way, or I didn't carry myself a certain way. They would often call me white and all that. And that really hurt me growing up. That even moving to when I became an adult, it gave me an identity issue where I was like, I don't have a home even in the black community. Then where am I supposed to have a home? Later on, I found that none of that really matters. My home is in Jesus Christ. But that really played a huge part in it. And 6th grade is when my anger really started to boil. I just kept packing all the pain down inside the trash can. And I was like, I'll worry about it later, or none of this will matter when I graduate. However, I didn't realize that I carried all that into my adulthood until I had to find out the hard way, which I'll get into at a later point. So the bullying in 6th grade, like I said, it got worse. Constant fat jokes. There was a point in time where even the girls would bully me too. Even girls that I liked, they would end up bullying me. I was always the ugly duckling. And even in 6th grade, when we were in gym class, and this carried on to 7th grade as well, I would always get picked last. One, because I was bad at the sports at that point. But it always hurt seeing that I was always the last person picked. Even our gym teacher would make fun of me on occasion, which he was a creep anyways, but I'm not going to talk about that. Man, in 7th grade, it didn't get any better. It did not get any better. The bullying continued. I still had my group of fake friends. Nothing changed, really, besides the fact that the bullying just kept going up and up. I remember a lot of the older kids on the bus would sit there and bully me on the bus. They would make fun of me, say nasty things about my sister, and I would just come home, pretend none of that happened, and just bury myself in YouTube or in food and not safe for work content and all that, just escaping, just trying to escape from just all that, because I wouldn't talk about it to my dad. I would just tell him I had a good day at school, came home, and I would just try to cope the best way I knew how, because at the time there was a lot going on. Like, my parents were divorced at the point. I wasn't even processing that. It was just a mess. I was a mess. My reliance on food obviously caused my weight to spike even more. And by that point, the bullying got even worse, because they saw that I would keep gaining weight. And it just got awful. Just the constant making fun of me just made me hate people, made me hate everyone besides my friends. Just I felt like I didn't belong. I didn't belong in my own family. I didn't belong anywhere. I didn't even want to be alive. I just didn't feel anything at a point. I would just ball it all up and hope that I wouldn't have to deal with it. That would just go away. 8th grade was more of the same. Not much changed after that either. High school was a different story. High school was a mixed bag. 9th grade was pretty good besides the bullying. The bullying there was probably some of the worst that I've had. And there's this one specific reason. So I had a bully named DeAnthony. And he would often sit there and bully me for random reasons. We had a lot of classes together. So he would sit there and ridicule me, and then all the other classmates would get a laugh and all that. And I would just take it, because I was a pushover. I wasn't going to do anything. And that made me an easy target. So every day I would get ridiculed by him. And my other classmates, Some of the football players would make fun of me. Girls would make fun of me. I had a girl that I grew up with pretty much tell me that I was going to give her Ebola because I tapped her shoulder, and the whole class laughed at me. It was awful because all I want to do is just say hi to her. One of the worst points in ninth grade was I was in gym class with my best friend, or one of my best friends for that matter, and we were outside playing, I think, softball or something with the rest of the class, and apparently one of my other classmates named Zane spread a rumor that I called DeAnthony a slur, which I did not call him a slur. Anyways, DeAnthony came out, made a huge song and dance about it, and I was mid-conversation with my best friend talking about video games or whatever we were talking about at the time, and DeAnthony just walked up to me, and he says, "What did you say about me?" And I was confused, because I don't talk about him. So I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then he slapped me right in front of, one, pretty much a good chunk of the ninth grade class, two, the upperclassmen, and three, the teachers. The teachers didn't do anything. I got laughed at by everyone. That was absolutely humiliating. And the sad thing is, I was so confused on what just happened because it happened so quick in my mind. I didn't do anything. I didn't punch him back. I wish I did, but I didn't. I just took it and I walked away because I was confused. I did not know what he was talking about. So once we came out and we went back inside, we were in the locker room. I got made fun of by the upperclassmen. They were pushing me around, calling me names. And I ended up crying, and I went to the principal's office because I could not finish through a class. It was so bad that the class after that, because I had me and DeAnthony share classes, like, pretty much that whole entire year. So our class after that, he was telling all the girls what he did, and they were making fun of me, and I just started crying. I don't cry, really. I don't cry in front of people for that matter. But I cried. I cried so bad that I had to go to the principal's office, and my teacher even emailed my dad. And I'll get into that in a second. But I went to the principal's office, told them what happened. They suspended DeAnthony because the slogan back then was "Stop bullying, speak up." So I spoke up. Later, I had no idea how much that would even cause me. That cost me more. I should have just kept my mouth shut. Anyways, DeAnthony ended up getting suspended. That same day, I went home, got bullied on the bus about it because the upperclassmen that were riding the bus also were in gym too. So they bullied me, said awful things about me, awful things about my family or whatever. Came home. First thing I did is absorb some not safe for work content and the usual stuff I did to cope. And my dad came home. He was like, "Hey, I got a call from your teacher." And we talked about it. And he was disappointed in me because I didn't fight back, which I understand. I wish I did, but I didn't. And DeAnthony was gone for a while. Because he was suspended, but he came back. And he bullied me even more. Everybody bullied me because they're like, "Oh, David snitched," because DeAnthony told him that I snitched on him. And I got bullied 10 times more because of that. And I had so much hate in my heart. I was like, what was the point in even speaking up? So I stopped talking about it. So ever since then, anytime I got bullied, I would just sit there and take it. Because I'm like, I'm not going to snitch. I'm not going to hit anybody because I'm a pushover. I just sat there and took it all. 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade pretty much were better. I ended up leaving my fake friends because they embarrassed me in front of my crush. And I just realized they weren't good for me. So I got rid of them. And just the average bullying, like I said, fat jokes and all that happened throughout 10th to 12th grade. And I graduated. And in my mind, I was like, I don't have to worry about them anymore. Sure enough, that pain followed me up into my adulthood. I didn't realize how much that anger, how much I was balling up. And eventually it ended up bursting about last year, but I'll talk about that at a different time. It just led me down a dark path. I hated everyone besides my friends. I hated everything. And it was just awful. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you later.